Joining me now is the New York City Health Commissioner, Dr. Mary Bassett. Dr. Bassett, thank you so much. Obviously, this is a day that you have prepared a long time for. I know New York City feels like it's ready. The question a lot of people have is, look, Dr. Spencer wasn't going to work during the incubation period because he didn't want to be around patients. He was checking his temperature twice a day, as he'd been told to do. But this is the second healthcare worker who was doing that self-monitoring who ended up contracting Ebola. And a lot of people just don't understand. He was still using mass transit. He was going to restaurants. And they think, all right, here's the common sense. If you were treating Ebola patients and you were told not to go to work because it might be risky, why would you be going to restaurants and using mass transit?
Well, let's keep in mind that Dr. Spencer was well. He was well when he left Africa. He was well when he left for Europe. So when he came through, he had no fever, he felt good, and he was checking his temperature twice a day. I think that it's a policy of Doctors Without Borders that they ask people to sort of self-isolate. It doesn't mean that you don't leave your house. It means you restrict yourself to, well, to seeing a few people. At least that's what he did. But the important thing is that he was feeling well, and we know that when people have Ebola infection and they're not symptomatic, they're not infectious.
Right. Now, I know he'd been feeling sluggish, as the nurse had as well, so they're looking at those times, but obviously they feel that that's low risk. It does, though, bring the question, because the governor, obviously, of New York, as well as the governor of New Jersey, have now announced a mandatory quarantine that would have applied to Dr. Spencer. Well, let me just read you the quote. You tell me whether it would or wouldn't.
Yeah, I haven't seen anything in writing about it.
All right, so here's what they said. They said there will be a mandatory quarantine for any individual who had direct contact with an individual infected with the Ebola virus in one of the affected West African countries. That obviously would have then applied to Dr. Spencer.
Applied to him. If some of the other things I've seen, they describe high-risk patients.
Right.
And we don't consider somebody in general who uses personal protective equipment. That's the gear that people have all seen. There's a picture of Dr. Spencer in that gear. We don't consider them at high risk when they are looking after a patient with Ebola, because protective gear works.
Earlier today, I spoke with the Office of Emergency Management Commissioner here in New York City, Joe Esposito, and I just wanted to play for you what he said when I talked to him about, is this just the first case that we might see here in New York City?
Oh.
Do you expect there's going to be more Ebola in New York City? Because it kind of seems definitional that there will be.
Well, just because it's New York City and the amount of people that come through this city from other countries, you would think that we have a higher probability of having another case. Will we have more cases? Yeah. Have we put things in place to deal with it? Without a doubt.
Do you agree with both those things?
Absolutely.
Will we have more cases? Yes. Are we ready? Yes.
You know, we are a global city. We have one of the world's busiest airports. We've always welcomed people from all parts of the world. So if there's any place where we really should be prepared, as we are, it should be New York City. So, you know, we have had our first patient. Will we have another one? I think that we certainly will not be surprised.
Okay. Well, Dr. Bassett, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.